What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Derek,
And I'm Kevin.
and together we are last week's album. We're bringing you two opinions on the best new music, and this week we're reviewing Strange Trails by Lord Huron, and we're asking the question, does Lord Huron's Strange Trails make waves or succumb to the sophomore slump and find a placid response? But before we go any further, we're going to start things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Kevin, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
All right, so Lord Huron is a quartet. They're based in LA right now. They're originally from Michigan, and this project initially started through the solo recordings of frontman Ben Schneider. As I mentioned, this is their sophomore album and follows Lonesome Dreams, which was released in 2012. So that's kind of the background. And if you couldn't piece it together, the band's name is a reference to the Great Lake, Lake Huron, as he lived near there and kind of grew up next to the lake. It's great from everything I hear about it. So that brings us to Sounds Like. Kevin, what did you think Strange Trails sounds like?
I think it sounds like what would have happened if Fleet Foxes had written the soundtrack to Eddie and the Cruisers.
Interesting. I like that you answer the sounds like with a question. Is this Jeopardy? I think Strange Trail sounds like the all country of Futurebirds mixed with a sad, spacey war on drugs. If that makes any sense. So, key tracks, Kevin, what did you have?
I'm going with track number 7, The World Ender.
That's a good one. I'm actually going with the 5th track, La Belle, Fleur, Sauvage. Pardon my French or lack thereof. In case you don't speak French like me and don't want to go, Google Translate that, it means a beautiful flower. And this one's kind of a slow builder. It opens up with a strummed acoustic guitar riff, a soft steel guitar, backing vocal ooze. And then the 1 minute mark, it kind of picks up momentum as electric guitar comes in, a plodding bass line, subtle percussion. And overall, I really thought that, there was a lot of classic country elements coming together there. And lyrically, he builds this elaborate metaphor where the flower is precariously perched on a mountaintop, and the main character describes the lengths he'd go to be with her. And at one point he says, once he's gazed upon her, a man is forever changed. The bravest men return with darkened hearts and phantom pain. Ages come and go, but her life goes on the same. She lives to see the sun and feel the wind and drink the rain. I thought, really poetic lyrics. Just really describing, you feel like you're climbing a mountain listening to it, juxtaposed against these, kind of spacey alt country sounds. I just really dug it.
Right on. Yeah, that was definitely a good one. I, however, chose track number 7, The World Ender, which you might think they would put very last, but it's about halfway through here. And I dig it for its very sort of spaghetti Western vibes. There's some galloping drums, desert guitar, howling vocals, distant strings way in the back at times. And it's an appropriately haunting track as it tells the story of a ghost who is out for revenge. And one good line here, he says, they can run for their lives, but they cannot be saved. I'm the world ender, baby, and I'm coming for them. And just this ominous sort of character they build here. And the story and the sound work so well together. I think that's what makes this track really hard to ignore and really hard to find any fault with. I think it's just a really, really great standout song. So definitely check that one out.
That's a good one, Kevin. Brings us to best lyric. What did you have?
I'm going to go with the opening line to the entire album, which I thought really sums it up really well right from the start. He says, yes, I know that love is like ghosts. Oh, few have seen it, but everybody talks. And, this album is about characters who are all sort of in search of love or lost love, depending on the situation, and some of whom are quite literally ghosts, as I just mentioned. And I think the album's narrative aside, that's a very poignant lyric just all on its own. So that's what I dug. What about you, Derek?
That was a great song filled with great lyrics, but I'm pulling one from Until the Night Turns, which also about the world ending. There was a lot of themes of the world ending on here. I don't know why that came to a point here, but anyway, he's describing being at the end of the world. I got a hell of a view for the end of the world. I've got a bottle of booze and a beautiful girl. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, go in style. And I thought, for a lot of kind of the darkness lyrically, or as you mentioned, a lot of love lost and characters expressing those emotions, he, still paints a positive picture even in the darkest of times. Literally. All right. So I bring this to overall rating, and answering the question: does Strange Trails make waves, or is it going to find a placid response? Kevin, go.
I think it'll have a slow ripple effect. I think they've done a great job of expanding their sound, which will deflect some of the critics who say they sound way too much like Fleet Foxes and a little bit too hazy and sepia tone in general. But they haven't strayed too far from their core, which will keep fans happy. And I really enjoy the less Americana vibes that they pepper in. Some sort of 60s pop, some sort of cinematic effects, and I think those interesting approaches help them really stand out within this genre. And yeah, so overall, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I think it takes some ambitious turns, but they blended everything together really nicely. And I love the character-driven narratives. I read that this started out as a movie, a script he was writing, and then he took every single character and then wrote a song for them from their perspective. So for me, as someone who's a big fan of theater and characters, that just really stuck out to me and made me like it even more. So my only flaw I could find was that it's a little bit too long. I feel like it could have been 10 tracks instead of 14. I won't say which 4 they could have lost, but you get the idea. So what do you think, Derek?
I agree with you there. I think they're one-upping everyone. They're saying, okay, no longer just write albums or songs. Write a movie that didn't become a movie, and then write songs about the characters in the movie that didn't become a movie. That's some one-upsmanship if I've ever seen it. I totally agree with you. I really dug their sound. On one hand, I thought there was nothing specifically groundbreaking, but at the same time, they didn't stick to one particular sound. I think you're exactly right. I thought they really kind of explored, all different ends of the spectrum of, sort of anything alt country, if you will. The upbeat Fool for Love, the downtrodden, reverb-heavy Love Like Ghost opening track, fantastic. The only potential negative I found potentially is an overwhelmingly too similar lyric in 2 different parts in the album. And I really loved the lyric, which is weird. Love Like Ghost, he says, there ain't language for the things I feel. And then later on in Meet Me in the Woods, he says, there ain't language for the things I've seen. And it's a fantastic lyric, but maybe don't use it twice. But that being said, I think you're right. I think this misses the sophomore slump. I don't know if it's going to make waves, but ripple effect is good. I think that's good because Love Like Ghost, that song just continued to kind of haunt me. The lyrics, I think you're exactly right. Everything came together. I think in describing your key track, the lyrics reflected the sound and vice versa. Totally did it there. That being said, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it. So there you have it. A 4 out of 5 from both Kevin and myself. It makes it for an 8 out of 10 for Strange Trails by Lord Huron. So you definitely need to go check that one out. And don't forget to subscribe to last week's album, where we will be bringing you 2 opinions on the best new music. And until next time, I'm Derek.
And I'm Kevin.
Cheers.